Hello everyone, this is Mr. Cruz speaking on behalf of our Inkscape introduction lesson. On the class website there should be a link that says Inkscape right here under course content and units. On this page you're going to find all of the lessons that we'll be doing and this introduction lesson. So let me go ahead and introduce this software called Inkscape. So Inkscape is a graphic image design software known as vector graphics. On your computer, when you go to start, you should see Inkscape right here in all programs. If you don't see it there, you can search for it here or go into all programs and find it under Inkscape. So you'll click on that and open that up. Inkscape is capable of drawing something called vector graphics. Let's go to Google and you're going to see I have opened some vector graphics. So if you go to image search and just do a simple search for vector graphics and press enter, you'll see that there's a ton of really neat and colorful and interesting images, and these are vector graphics. Vector graphics are everywhere. You see them on highway road signs, you see them on logos. Pretty much every graphic that you've seen that has some type of straight lines and colors is a vector graphic. We'll be designing and creating our own vector graphics and use Inkscape to do that. So let's see, Inkscape is open. This is a new document. When you open Inkscape, this is what it should look like. You have your canvas in the center, you have your tools on the left and the top. Let me show you some examples of what we'll be working on. One of the first things you'll design is a simple line drawing of a bicycle, and we go as advanced as making your own Pokemon. So I actually drew this Pokemon, the Charmander, using this software and getting creative with it. Now let's look at some other examples. You'll learn how to draw the Nike check, Pac-Man, a Pac-Man goes, and if you know who this little brown guy is, kudos to you. We'll even do some simple things just so you know how to draw some simple shapes. So the goal of this software is to learn how to draw cartoons and graphics and logos and get creative so that you can explore the field of graphic design later on if you wish to pursue that as a career. Let me open up my blank Inkscape. Alright, so this is an introduction lesson. I'm going to be showing you a couple things just so you learn the basics and can get started right away on designing graphics. On the left, you have your tools. On the top, you have some more tools. In the center, you have this thing called the canvas, this little rectangle. This is where you're going to draw all of your graphics. To zoom in quick, you have some options right here. This is the zoom to fit page window. I like this button a lot. It'll zoom in the whole way. Some other things on your mouse, if you move your mouse wheel up and down, you can scroll the page up and down. Also, your mouse wheel, if you click down on the mouse wheel and hold, you'll be able to move the canvas. Okay, so that's some basic moving around of the canvas. I'm going to move it and leave it right here. I'm in the habit of drawing things on the right side where it's open and then moving them into the canvas. You'll kind of discover that later on. So let's look at this tools right here. So you have a rectangle tool that lets you draw rectangles and squares. On the bottom you should see a color bar. If you click on a color, you'll see that the rectangle changes color with the one that you click, and there's a scroll bar there, so you have all of these colors at your disposal right away, which is kind of neat. You have a tool that lets you draw 3D shapes. You have the oval and circular tool. You have a tool that lets you draw star shapes, and also you'll notice that each tool right above the tool menu, the menu right under the menu, sorry, you have all of these options. So for example, see how it says corner 7? If I reduce that, you see how this star changes? Okay. You also, each shape will get a little square on its corners. So if you click on this little arrow tool again, it'll let you move it around. You can reshape things. Also, if you click on it again, you can rotate, you grabbing a corner, or you can even skew things. Deleting things is easy. Just press delete on the keyboard. So click on your shape and then press delete on the keyboard. You have a spiral tool. You have a pencil tool, which will let you draw just like in Paint. And the most important tool, this tool right here, this is the one you'll be using the most. It's called the Bezier. This tool is the reason the Nike check exists in digital form and so on. This tool is awesome. So check this out. Watch me draw. So first, in order to get my tool to draw, I click one time. And that one time that I click, I create this thing called a node, this little square. And I extend off of that node, and you see that line coming off of it. That's the line that will be drawn. So I click again to anchor that point, and I move this to where I need it to go. Click again, and I'm going to close this up. So once that little square turns red, I click and it closes up the shape, and I've drawn a triangle. Now that's not all I can do. This tool works very nicely with this tool right here, which is the edit paths and nodes. So if I click on that tool with the shape already selected, you see these little gray squares pop up, and I can grab those and I can move my triangle shape however I like. Now the beautiful thing about this is I can also grab lines and curve lines. So if I wanted to make a cool shape, I can grab the curves and make cool shapes like that. If I click off of it, that's what that looks like. I'll use my select and transform objects tool right here, otherwise known as the selector. And I can grab that shape, move it around, make it bigger, fill it in with a color if I want, and so on. And that's not permanent. So if I don't like that shape, I can click on this tool again, the edit path tool, and I can grab the edges and manipulate it as I see fit. So let's go ahead and draw something that you will recognize. So click on the Bezier tool, click one time, and draw just a straight line across like this. Click one time. Okay, that's good. And then bring your line over here like this. You're kind of drawing like an upside down triangle, but look at the placement on here. So draw a triangle that looks like that. Grab the node edit path nodes tool, and you'll see the nodes pop up. On this line right here, move your mouse over it and curve and grab it until it looks something like that. Okay, now grab this line up here, the top line, and bring that down like that. What is that? If you said the Nike check, you're right. It's very similar. It's not exactly it, but it's pretty close. These little things I'm grabbing on each node, on each corner point, you'll see these little lines with little circles pop up. If you grab those, you can actually manipulate the lines even more. And I like that. I like manipulating the lines so that I can really fine-tune my shapes. Now I'll click on the selector, and then I can fill that in with a color. And there it is. There's my Nike check. Now if I want to change some other options, I have this tool right here, which is the edit paths and colors. This is an important tool to know because you can change the fill, so you can turn the fill on and off. So watch the Nike check. Let's move this over. Okay. So watch the Nike check. So I have this fill. I'm going to turn that on and off. See that? I also have the gradient, which will provide two colors. Okay. Stroke paint. Stroke paint is the outline. So if I change the outline color here, you'll see the outline color on the Nike check change. And stroke style has to do with the width of the line. So if I increase the line width, you see what happens on the Nike check. The join can change the way the edges look. So if you have straight joints or curved joints, that's what that looks like. You can even make it look like it's dashed or solid. Okay. Those are the basics. Actually, wait, I'm not done. Let's add some text. So this A is for text. Click on the A. Click and drag a box out and go ahead and type your name. Nike check. And that is your first lesson. You should be able to draw pretty much anything you want at this point. Once you understand how to use the Bezier and the Edit Bezier tool and the selector and the colors and the stroke paint, you can create anything that you want to as long as you put in the work. And don't get scared about creating things. Ask questions, look at other vector graphics, and have fun with this. This is all about creating and having fun with graphics. So once you finish this Nike check, show me. You'll get credit for it. Go to the class website, and this might change. This might look different. So that was the introduction lesson, which was making a Nike check. Move on to whatever number 2 is. So it might not be this dinosaur cartoon. It might not be this next thing. I might change it depending on how things go. But whatever the next lesson is, just keep chugging along. These are projects, so they're important to complete them and have them in the gradebook. When you complete assignments like this, please get more creative. So if you wanted to add more Nike checks into this and get funky with it, go for it. So like if you right click on the shape, you can duplicate and move it over and so on. Alright, so that's the basics. Have some fun with it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.